Hello, everybody. It's about that time. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Today's beer comes from Jackie O's Pub and Brewery. These guys are up in Ohio. This is their Dark Apparition Bourbon Barrel Aged. Guys, I did the regular version of this back in January of 2015 and I thought it was pretty damn tasty. This was sent to me by my brother Rico. This is the Bourbon Barrel Aged version of this, and he writes on this one, Bourbon Barrel Aged Dark Apparition, 11.5% Russian Imperial Stout, brewed with brown sugar and aged in oak bourbon barrels for 8 to 12 months. Almost a whole year there, guys. He said he traded for this. I believe it was around $12 MSRP. I know it's sold at the brewery as well, the bottle shops around the Ohio area. They also have different variants of this, such as coconut, vanilla, coffee, etc. Vintage year and ABV are on the label. And I have not looked at the label for the vintage year. He usually writes that on here, but he did not on this one. So, with that being said, let me take a quick look here. And it says this is a 2016 edition of their Bourbon Barrel Aged Dark Apparition Stout, brewed with brown sugar and aged in bourbon barrels. So, I'm in the only way a lot of these beers, and I used to say this, and I probably still do. The only way I could say this style of beer could be better if I had to put it in a bourbon barrel. So that's what they've done here. If I remember correctly, this did get an A grade last time, and like I said, that was 3 years ago. So, Rico, thanks again, my brother. I do appreciate you sending this to me. Let me taste this variation of it. I do love a bourbon barrel aged Russian Imperial Stout. So, let's see what this brings to the table. I'll give you the ABV. I don't have the IBUs listed here for this. And commercial description. Oh my God, I got another long one here, guys. Bear with me. The only good brew in your hands is rife with dark complexities. 7 malts were used to create the deep flavors of coffee, chocolate, caramel, and molasses. A hint of bitterness and herbal character from carefully selected European and American hops help support the monolithic maltiness. After conditioning in stainless steel, the beer was transferred into the bourbon barrels for 8 to 12 months. Dark Apparition waited patiently in oak barrels until the time was right to spring forth with its ghostly gusto. A truly decadent brew that is intended to be poured into your favorite snifter and given time to warm up from its dark and cool resting place. And that's what I do always, guys. I'll take this out of the fridge and then I'll pour it in a glass and I'll have a couple of sips here on the intro of the beer. Then I'll go sit and sip on it for probably 30 to 45 minutes and let it come up to room temperature before I come back and do the final tasting and chug on this beer and give you my opinion. I always let these beers come up to room temperature. And a lot of people don't even drink them unless they're room temperature. I like to start out with it a little bit chilled and let those notes come out as the beer warms up and see what we end up with here. So that's what we're going to do on this one here, guys. So without more flapping and gabbing, let me get this thing opened up. And from what I've had sent to me from Jackie O's, because I cannot get them here, I've been pretty impressed with what these guys do up there, or gals, whoever the brewery brewmaster or the brewing guys or gals are. Now let's go down the center on this one. It says here, food pairing is general chocolate dessert digestive. Glassware pint Becker non tumbler snifter. I got my favorite tulip glass. It says here can be sold for a long period of time. This thing's not going to pour any head at all down the center. And it got a little darker on that final little over there. There's nothing in the bottom of the bottle, so everything is in the glass, no head. I mean, it's not even covering the top of the beer, guys. Pitch black. I'm not getting any light at all. To the nose we go. Final beer of the evening for me. A little bit of bourbon. Rich roasted malt, black molasses. Maybe a hint of tobacco or licorice in there. Probably going to be some dark fruit once it comes up to room temperature. Smells very, very nice. And for a 2016 version, we're in 2018. I don't know when in 2016 they did it. Beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year. So could be 2 years old. At least a year, year and a half, year and 3/4. I don't know when in 2016. It said 8 to 12 months, so it's been almost a whole year in the barrels before they put it in the bottle. So several years old. Let's just say that. Smells good. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rico. That's very nice. It was very, very nice. A little thin on the mouthfeel for something this big. A very nice taste. The bourbon is there. The malt is there. Hint of molasses. Like I said, I'm not getting any dark fruit yet. I'm not getting any kind of coconut. Maybe a hint of some vanilla. So we need to let this warm up. Come up to room temperature. But like I said, it does have a kind of thin mouthfeel for a beer of this magnitude. But let's let it warm up. Maybe that'll change. And we'll sip on it and come back and see what it ends up with. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. Now that it's warmed up to room temperature, it does seem to be a little on the boozy side. But they left it in the damn barrels for 8 to 12 months. They definitely got the boozy bourbon notes going on with this. And I do find it a little thin for a beer this big. Other than that, it's pretty tasty. Now that it's warmed up, I mean, I am getting the coconut and the vanilla. But I'm getting the boozy bourbon on this. Well, that's a big beer, guys. I might have a slight buzz. 11.5% bourbon barrel aged. So, yep. Might have just a little bit of a buzz, but I do think it's a very tasty beer, guys. I don't know if it's any better than the regular version that I did 3 years ago. I do appreciate the taste of the bourbon that I'm getting from this one that I did not get from that one. But I almost feel like the other one had a little creamier, thicker mouthfeel than this one does. Without having both of them here side by side where I could taste one then taste the other, I'm not sure, because it's been too many beers under the bridge since I did the first one. Now that I'm doing this one, but I do think it's an A beer, guys. I do think it's a very tasty beer. So let's jump in and do the final chug. Now you can definitely smell the bourbon and the booze now that it's warmed up. But it's not off-putting, it's not burning or doing anything like that. I do appreciate this style of beer. I'm a big fan of the bourbon barrel aged beer, y'all know that. And it smells pretty damn good, and I did enjoy this, so final chug. Tasty beer, guys. But I have had bourbon barrel beers that were tastier than this. So I can't jump on the bandwagon and say, oh my God, this is a 10 beer, best thing I ever damn had. It's not quite that, but it is a very nice beer. I'm glad I got to try the bourbon barrel version of it. So Rico, thanks again, my brother. I do appreciate you sending me this one. So now I've had the regular version and the bourbon barrel aged version of it. Very nice beer, guys. If you're into the bourbon barrel aged imperial stouts, you will probably like this. But it is a little on the boozy side. Of course, it's a 2016, and this is just January of 2018. Maybe this will calm down if you sell it for 5, 7, 10 years. So I do find it a little bit boozy, and I do think it's a little thin for 11 point whatever. But other than that, I found it very enjoyable. I think it's a very tasty beer. So I'm going to give this the same thing I gave the last one. I think this is an A beer. I'm going to give it a 95 right down the middle. Because I have had better, but I've had worse. So let's jump over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate says 4.33. That's their A- scale, guys. That's not even to their solid A scale. And over to Untapped has it at 4.34. That is in their A scale. So I agree with Untapped on this one. It's an A beer, guys. And I do appreciate the guys at Jackie O's at least putting a vintage on it, 2016. But we don't know whether it was January 2016, June or July, or December of 2016. I don't know when in the year that they actually do these beers, guys, and put them in the bottle. So, with that being said, if you've had the Bourbon Barrel Dark Apparition from Jackie O's Brewing, let me know what you think. Until we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.